I can't forsake it. My word is bonding if I break it. Break my face on the pavement. Call my savage, but I run this, you know, never be making. Love our conversations, you know, fuck the same.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Anything Goes TV 817. I'm your host, David.
I'm Nino.
And that was All the Done. Shout out to Clint. Shout out to all our listeners. Bruce, Luther, Axe, Mark, and all the lovely ladies. Tammy, Brandy, Kennedy, Kiara, Cornella, Amy, Peaches, and Kayla, and everybody that I didn't mention. Thank you for listening. We love you all. Today we want to talk about Caitlin Clark, her effect on the WNBA. Everybody been talking about the hip check she had between her and Kennedy Carter. After May bucket, Kennedy Carter fouled her hard, and the WNBA the next day assessed her a flagrant 1. So everybody's talking about, is everybody in the league jealous of her because she's bringing a lot of notoriety to the league? Well, they had a big debate about it, and Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith had a heated debate where Monica McNutt said to Stephen A. the only reason why he's covering the WNBA now is because of Caitlin Clark. And Stephen A. replied that no one has covered women's sports in the WNBA more than First Take. And then she replied, hold on, Stephen A., I'm talking to you. You could have done more with your platform. And Stephen A. went ballistic. Wow. Like, he's done so much for him that he can't believe she said that. Which brings us to our question today. What effect does Caitlin Clark have on the WNBA? Is she someone that you have to not foul hard? Does she get the respect like a LeBron James get or a Patrick Mahomes get? Because we know they're the face of their leagues. So is this jealousy or respect? Nino, what you think about what's going on?
Well, since she is LeBron S, the chosen one, and she's supposedly be bringing more revenue because she's the hot ticket from goes to pre-draft night from the WNBA. It was one of the most, I believe the night was one of the most lucrative nights when the draft night was going, the 2024 draft was going on that night and everything. Yeah, she's supposed to be like the golden goose. Now, saying this about the situation with her and Kennedy Carter, hey, I mean, I'm kind of with Monica McNutt on that. Hey, you're going to get hit. It's rough. You got grown ladies out here, okay? This is not the University of Iowa. This is not college. This is not 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. These are grown women who have families and everything. So I don't think it's so much as jealousy. I just think it's hard fouls. You know, that's all I think on that.
It seems like one of the things that Monica McNutt brought up was that being the number 1 pick, you have a target on your back. And it's just like in any sport. They said they point back to when Candace Parker joined the league, and she was a transitional player, and she had got into it where one of the players that was in the league had roughed her up, similar to what happened with Caitlin, and nothing was said. It was called a hard play, a tough foul. But now, because it's Caitlin Clark, it seems like it's something different. What you think, Nino?
Well, you're right, David. It has been said too. I'm not trying to make it. Maybe is it white privilege? I don't know. Maybe it's this, that. Because I believe, like, okay, let's take for instance, what's the girl name from LSU that got picked? What's her name?
What is her name? Boy, that's terrible.
What's the girl name that got
Angel.
Okay.
Angel Reese.
I was watching the game through Angel. Angel was taking her bumps and bruises. It wasn't a lot said through that or whatever. Why is they babying Caitlin Clark so much? Because she's this. I guess they want to put her like, well, she's the savior. Because you got to remember, David, a couple of years ago, the WNBA was on the brink of folding.
And that brings us to a good point where Monica McNutt said that to Stephen A. That Stephen A., you could have been doing this 3 years ago.
Right.
But Caitlin Clark wasn't here 3 years ago. See, Stephen A. should have, at that point, in my opinion, had went on and said, well, you were right about that. Y'all didn't have the notoriety. And you just didn't have that it factor at that point. There was no transitional player that we could build the league and expand the league and expand the base. What you think, Nino?
That's true. That's true. I mean, because, and then I think another thing, too, is very transparent, David. You got to realize, too, she's on a very, I'm not going to say simple, but her team is not winning a lot. The Indiana Fever are almost at the bottom of the heap. I think if my calculations are right, last time they won a championship or was in the playoffs was 2016, and that's when Tamika Catchings was there. So you got to look at the team that she's playing with, too.
Yeah, her team is one of the sorriest teams in the league.
Absolutely.
But she was player of the month this past month when she had 17 points and 6 assists. And then she get hip checked by Kennedy Carter. And everybody hit the roof. They were like, hey, you can't touch her. So is it all those players jealous of her? Let's just get right to it. Is it just respect and hard play, just like we would do to anybody else, or are they jealous of her? We need to find that out. What you think?
I'm going to say this. For what she's been given, because I hear she already has a $30 million contract, if they are, I wouldn't blame them. Because look at these girls that have been in the WNBA before she got there, that laid the groundwork. And now she just comes in. Remember, even Ice Cube wanted to offer her a $5 million contract to play with the Big Three. So if these girls are have a little bit of animosity, I mean, I don't condone it, but can you really blame them, people?
Well, they have to look at the big picture. Because of her, they're bringing in more revenue. And their salary is going to go up from now on because of her. You see, she's good for the overall league. And that at that point, you can't look at the color because you got to admit she's good. She can shoot the ball. Yeah. And that's what the league is looking for now, even in the NBA. We're looking for shooters. The NBA had to catch up. I remember a while back, a long time ago, not so long, when we had fell behind in the international games and was losing in Olympic play. And we were so desperate for shooters, we put somebody on the Olympic team by the name of Michael Redd, if I'm not mistaken, because nobody else in the league could shoot. So now we have a Steph Curry, a Dame Lillard on the woman's side, and it's very exciting. And everybody else is jealous. Well, I'm not saying they're jealous. This is what we're talking about. Are they jealous?
Could be. Could be.
Well, or could it be a respect? Because remember, when you're the number one player, you have a target on your back. And that's what she was, the number one player. Whatever color, you're going to have that target. Now, it seems like it's highlighted because she's a white player.
Yes.
Is that fair? Is that fair?
No.
So what I say then is that Caitlin Clark should not apologize for being good. And I know that she made a statement that, hey, she got to get used to being fouled like that. But one of the footnotes here is that they said that she started it with a cheap elbow. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir. I was just finna get to that. I was itching already. They said, listen, remember, I'm going to take you back some more, too. I mean, we wrote, remember when her and Angel Reese a couple years ago, when they villainized Angel Reese about doing this? Remember a couple of games before when Caitlin Clark did that?
Oh, yeah.
But then nothing was said. But when Angel Reese did that and they won a national championship, now Angel Reese is just a villain. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we know there's possibly double standards here. But what we're looking at is the overall picture for everybody in the league. And because of Caitlin Clark, everybody's watching the league. Even though she's on one of the sorriest teams in the league, people are watching. They watch the draft because of her, and they watching the games, basically because of her at this point. Now, a bigger question would be, if this was anybody else shooting like that, would we be watching the league?
No.
I don't know. I don't know, because this is a good story here.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, because as you were saying earlier, Nino, when we was off camera, that over 70% of the league is black.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the best player in the league that's white. What a story that is. And now people will say, hold on now, she's not the best player in the league. And they're right about that. She have to prove that. But she is the most exciting player right now. What do you think?
Yes, she's definitely the most marketable. Who's marketed more than Caitlin Clark right now? It's must see TV without must. She just must see, because she's even must see when you come into the arena and see her. Do you know, before Caitlin Clark came, most of the people that was coming to the arenas and seeing the WNBA was basically this men and their daughters. Now it's all walks of life, families and everything.
And that's good for the league.
Absolutely.
That's good for the league. So I wouldn't say that they are jealous per se. I would say more envy. They envy the fact that a lot of them feel that they're a better player than her and they're not getting the notoriety. So they're going to make sure they play her extra tough, no matter who it is. They're going to prove to her that you are not going to be the face of this league, even though she has already been anointed the face of the league. I say that, yes, a lot of the players are jealous. And I say that Stephen A. Smith could have covered them more, like Monica McNutt said 3 years ago. But the reason why Stephen A. didn't do it and talk about it on his platform is because he wasn't instructed to do that. And Monica McNutt should know that. And that's why Stephen A. did the wow. Because it wasn't a story then. And she know that. This is one time you put Stephen A. on blast for no reason. Because nobody watched y'all 3 years ago. And you know that, Monica McNutt. It was a non-story. So you were right. He could have done it. And Stephen A. should have said, yeah, I could have. But y'all wasn't a story then. I'm David.
And I'm Nino.
Tune in again for another episode of Anything Goes TV 817.